The story begins on a remote, lonely island off the coast of Scotland, where a man named Michael lives completely alone. No one else is nearby, only the sound of wind and the crashing waves of the sea. His only companion is a loyal dog that rarely leaves his side. Every week, a young woman named Jessie and her uncle arrive by a small boat, bringing food and basic supplies, but Michael avoids them at all costs. He barely looks at them and often refuses to open the door, as if staying away from people has become part of who he is. One day, while leaving the supply crate outside, Jessie places a small gift on top of it. It's simple, but clearly given with kindness. After their boat drifts away, Michael steps out, silently lifts the crate, and leaves the gift on the ground. He spends the entire day inside drinking, sitting at a table with a chessboard, playing against himself. The following week, Jessie gathers the courage to knock. Michael angrily opens the door, grabs the crate, and tries to shut it, but Jessie blocks it with her foot and asks why he never even says hello. Michael says nothing and slams the door. Soon after, a violent storm arrives. Their boat flips in the raging sea. Hearing his dog whining, Michael rushes outside, races to his boat, and speeds toward the storm. Jessie is trapped in a fishing net beneath the waves. Without hesitation, Michael dives into the freezing water, frees her, but her uncle is already gone. He pulls Jessie into his boat and desperately performs CPR. After many desperate attempts, Jessie finally starts breathing again. That evening, she wakes on Michael's bed and immediately asks about her uncle. Michael quietly tells her the truth, and she breaks down in tears, lying in bed the whole day while he silently sleeps on the couch. The next morning, he checks her ankle. It's swollen and cut from the fishing net. Jessie asks why he didn't call the police and if anyone knows she's on the island. He simply tells her to rest. When he steps out, Jessie erupts, insisting she must leave because her family is searching, though Michael knows her mother is dead and she's never met her father. Alone, Jessie searches Michael's desk and finds a knife, hiding it under her pillow when she hears his footsteps. That night, a terrifying nightmare wakes her, and she points the knife at him. Michael calmly reassures her it was just a dream, then shows her how to hold and use the knife properly. Over the following days, he cares for her, carrying her to the bathroom, cooking, giving medicine, and cleaning her wounds. Slowly, Jessie starts walking outside and spending time with the dog, whom she names Jack. She notices a chessboard and teases Michael about his misplaced rook, while he checks her infected foot but refuses to take her to a hospital. Later, she discovers he opened her gift, a snow globe with a lighthouse like the islands, just as, in London, Manafort is reprimanded for secretly running the Theia surveillance program. The program Theia secretly collects data from every phone and camera across the UK. Manafort explains it has prevented numerous attacks and helped capture terrorists. Later, he meets the Prime Minister, who turns off the recording and offers a deal. Publicly, Manafort will be fired, replaced by Roberta, because people cannot accept the government watching through their own devices. But behind the scenes, he will continue running Theia, and he agrees. Meanwhile, in Scotland, Michael carefully avoids security cameras while visiting a pharmacy, then sneaks into a clothing store to grab outfits. Outside, girls taking selfies accidentally capture his face, triggering an alert that marks him as an extremely dangerous terrorist. Roberta immediately dispatches an assault team. Back on the island, Michael tends to Jessie, bandaging her ankle, giving medicine, sweets, and clothes that fit perfectly. During dinner, he spots a boat approaching and tells Jessie to lock herself in the bathroom with a knife while he grabs a blade. As the soldiers land, Michael cuts a rope, sending a huge rock down the hill, and activates a hidden net that traps a soldier in the water. A blinding light temporarily blinds the rest, but they remove their goggles and shoot as Michael runs. One soldier pursues him up the hill, but Michael smashes a lantern on his head and fires a flare, setting him ablaze. Another soldier climbs up. Michael stabs him and pushes him off. Inside, Jack attacks a soldier but is shot and killed. Moments later, silence falls. The soldier reaches the bathroom door and kicks it open, snatching the knife from Jessie, grabbing her arms and dragging her outside. Inside the garage, another soldier searches for Michael, scanning the shadows with a flashlight. Michael waits silently, and as the soldier steps forward, he triggers a trap. An enormous iron hook swings down, tearing through the man's body, leaving him screaming and suspended in the air. Michael tightens the rope to hold him, then vanishes into the darkness. Moments later, another soldier arrives. Michael ambushes him, seizes his weapon, and a brutal fight erupts. He stabs the soldier 3 times, but the man keeps fighting until Michael smashes a nearby oar into his head and presses it against his throat until he stops breathing. Suddenly, Jesse screams in terror. Michael grabs the dead soldier's gun and shoots the kidnapper in the legs, knocking him down. Jesse steps aside, giving Michael a clear shot, and he eliminates the last soldier. Closer inspection reveals a small camera on one uniform, recording everything. Michael collects the equipment, then tells Jesse to wait while he goes inside. There, he finds Jack lying still. Kneeling, he gently touches him and whispers an apology for failing to save him. Making a quiet phone call, he says he's coming with baggage, removes the battery, and avoids being traced. Soon, Michael and Jesse escape on the soldier's boat into the dark sea. By morning, they reach Scotland, and Jesse sees blood on Michael's clothes as his wound reopens. Michael calmly tells Jesse he's fine and not to worry. They move quietly through the city, avoiding every camera until they spot a car they could use. But it belongs to someone else, and they have no keys. Michael quickly teaches Jesse to handle a gun and orders her to stand guard while he slips into a nearby house to search for the keys. Inside, a small child sees him and panics. Moments later, the homeowner appears, aiming a gun at Michael. Tension spikes, but Jesse steps forward, forcing the man to treat Michael's wound. Meanwhile, a technician on Roberta's team discovers that the earlier terrorist profile was fake. Someone had programmed the system so a certain face triggered an alert and then deleted itself. Digging deeper, the technician uncovers Michael's real file, which claims he died in combat years ago, revealing that someone is manipulating them into killing their own people. When the technician tries to access Michael's mission file, the system says it doesn't exist. Suddenly, a 911 call from Scotland reports a crying boy, saying a man and a girl captured his father. Roberta sends a team and a special agent. Manafort, secretly watching, is shocked Michael is alive. He contacts his loyal agent, Workman, orders the black operation, and commands him to kill Michael and Jesse. Back at the house, police surround the building. The owner's son admits he called them, but Workman shoots the owner as Michael stops the boy. Michael then fights officers, knocks them out, and escapes with Jesse, taking their weapons. When the remaining officers try to stop them, Michael quickly takes them down using pepper spray and a taser. The last officer doesn't even fight, and Michael grabs his car keys. He and Jesse jump into a police car and speed off. On the way, Michael crashes into a few vehicles but still escapes. Roberta watches from the cameras and tries to call Workman, but he's already disabled his communication device. Workman begins chasing them, ramming their car from behind. Michael accelerates, dodges gunfire that shatters a window, and maneuvers through the forest road. He takes a sharp turn to confuse Workman, who stays right on his tail. When bullets fly again, Michael zigzags, dodging them, then crashes into Workman's vehicle, flipping it off the road. Confident it's disabled, Michael drives on with Jesse. A few miles later, they reach a construction site to switch cars, but Workman is still alive. He shoots a police officer and forces a civilian to give him a vehicle. Meanwhile, Roberta calls Manafort, who reveals that years ago he ran a secret program called Black Kites, elite agents operating without government records. Michael was one of them and highly skilled. On a mission to assassinate a foreign intelligence officer, he instead filed a false report and vanished. Manafort suspected he had joined the enemy. Roberta hacks the Black Kite system, uncovering that Michael had once helped an Iranian scientist escape, a man later critical to a nuclear program, defying orders to kill him. While Roberta reads the files, Manafort secretly watches her through security cameras, making the situation even more dangerous. Later, Jesse quietly asks Michael if he has a family. He answers honestly, no, he has none. He explains he never wanted a wife or children because that would only make his already dangerous life harder, putting more lives at risk. Jessie, eyes filling with tears, says she would have accepted a difficult life just to have her mother and uncle back. She pulls out a folded paper from her bag. It's a drawing she made of Jack, the dog, and softly tells Michael that Jack was his real family. After traveling for a while, they reach the next city. Keeping their heads down, they walk carefully to avoid security cameras, but a passing car with a dash cam captures them anyway. Within minutes, Manafort pinpoints their location, edits the footage to remove them, and secretly sends the coordinates to Workman. Michael and Jesse enter a small church where Michael reunites with his old friend Arthur. Without questions, Arthur drives them deep into the woods to his quiet home. Jesse notices strange medicines in the kitchen and realizes they're for a serious illness. Arthur explains that he helped create the Thea system and secretly replaced Michael's photo years ago to protect him, but Manafort later labeled him a terrorist. Michael asks Arthur to watch Jesse while he leaves to finish the fight, but Arthur refuses. Jesse then reveals Arthur has cancer, realizing it from the same medicine her mother took, and insists she doesn't want to be a burden. Arthur admits he only has a few months left to live. Hearing this, Michael asks Arthur for the address of an old trafficker they once knew. Arthur refuses, warning that the man is extremely dangerous, but Michael insists he has no other choice. Just as they are about to leave, someone knocks, the door bursts open and Workman starts firing. Michael dives behind furniture, shoving a shelf down as Workman enters. Chaos erupts, chairs, tables, and lamps become weapons. In the struggle, a gun falls to the floor. Both men are elite agents and the fight drags on fiercely. Eventually, Workman overpowers Michael, pinning him down and raising the gun to kill him. Suddenly, Jesse grabs the gun, pointing it at Workman and ordering him to stop. He lunges, snatching the weapon, but Michael seizes a nearby nail gun, firing multiple shots before pulling Jesse and running. Workman fires, but Michael, Jesse, and Arthur escape in the car. Workman chases them, but it's too late. Manafort messages him, asking if the mission is complete. Workman replies no, and Manafort orders another team ready. In the city, Arthur gives Michael a phone and parts ways. Alone, Michael drives with Jesse, who asks to join him to the next island. He refuses, wanting her to live a better life. Meanwhile, Roberta's technician detects someone secretly using the Thea system and sets a trap. In London, Michael lets cameras capture his face, beats a nightclub bouncer to gain entry, and meets trafficker Kamal. Michael asks Kamal to create a new identity for Jesse, warning that if he refuses, Michael could expose Kamal's betrayals to Manafort, leaving him with more enemies than he can handle. Michael deliberately lets his face appear on camera, knowing agents will soon storm the club. Kamal now has no choice but to cooperate. The papers are ready and the boat will leave in 30 minutes. As Michael and Jesse leave, Manafort's team has already arrived. Michael attacks a man, knocks him down, takes his gun, and shoots him, the loud music hiding the sound. He kills another agent with a broken glass, and when a third is shot, people begin to notice. Michael and Jesse dash toward the bathroom corridor, only to encounter another agent, sparking a fierce shootout. Michael distracts the enemy and pulls Jesse back into the club, but agents surround him, beating him relentlessly. Jesse tries to help, but is pushed down, and Michael quickly shoots the attacker, causing chaos. Amid the panic, an agent grabs Jesse and kidnaps her. Michael calls Arthur, who tracks the van via security cameras and guides him. As Jesse is thrown inside, Roberta's team blocks the road. Michael fights off multiple agents, reaches Jesse, and just as Workman arrives, they steal a bike and escape. At a seaside platform, Jesse cries, unwilling to leave without Michael. Gunfire erupts and Michael pushes her onto a boat, then fights Workman hand to hand using pipes and chains, ultimately killing him. Later, Michael confronts Manafort over the Black Kite project, shooting him. 3 months later, Jesse starts a new life in Spain, receiving a bag with a chess piece from Michael, finally coming to take her away.